Miss Universe podcast.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Miss Universe podcast.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Miss Universe podcast.
Hello and welcome to Emma's podcast. Thank goodness it's the third one I'm recording and it's the end of the week, so because it's cocktail time somewhere, I'm telling you. It has been very interesting day. So, but very interesting podcast for this week, for who we are, what are we made of, because to me, my personal view and the view of the universe is we are all unique and different. It doesn't matter who we think we are or we want to emulate, but we are all different, and that difference make us unique. So when you do when you start a business or a hobby or whatever you want to do in your life, then you have to remind yourself, what is my uniqueness? What are my skill sets that are unique? Then I can capitalize on, aka really showcase, because everybody does different thing. And that is one of the best thing we can ever do for our own self. So if you are interested to know more about it, then we should be able to do that and be who we are meant to become. It should not be a problem. But in a society where we're here, like every society, if you're looking at through the ages, there is always and there were always the what do you call it? The typical, I'm having a blank, that's awesome for the last one. Criteria where you have to meet, which is based on the ego, or you're too thin, or you have to be too tall, or you have to do this, or the clear skin, dark skin, whatever the deal is. For today, we want you tan, we want you less tan, color of the hair, the style. This is typical, but you have to realize we don't fit in that mold. Nobody does fit in a mold, or a very few percentage fit in that mold. The rest of us are just unique, more unique. And this is what we need again to capitalize on. What is your uniqueness? What makes you you? What makes you tick? What are your skill sets? Because those skill sets are extremely valuable for somebody who wants to hire you. A lot of people, when they create new things, and I take example of what do you call it, Apple and Samsung, which is one of the easiest things to talk about. Actually, that's why I like to utilize them, because the visual makes it better for people who are listening to. And I give the example when I was a little late on this one. It was 2012 when I finally decided, after a trip at the Keys, that it was so frustrating. I don't mind to have paper map. I can read a map without a problem. But when you try to get things under your hands, and my phone, I had to buy something extra to get the map, which didn't brought me anywhere. So I just wasted some money for something like that. I said, well, it's time to move to our regular phone we do have right now, and which is iPhone, Samsung, and everything else, like smartphone. And it was very interesting because I always been attracted to the Apple for the phone, for the design and everything. And when I went to the store and I explained that story, it was that the decision was made on site, because I looked at the size of the Samsung. They were huge. And I'm like, this is bigger than my hands. It's like, that's a book. I'm like, this is not what I want to carry. And the iPhone was fitting in my hands, was lighter and better for me to use. So I went with the iPhone, plus security was blah, blah, blah. So when you look at your skill set, so transfer what I just said to the skill set. So let's say you're a bakery. Okay. And what you're making is going to be slightly different than the other bakers because you may be going to have some different style of cake, of pastries, bread, everything else, what makes you unique. Okay. What are your best recipes? It's like a restaurant. You can take different restaurant. You can take the French, you can the Italian, any ethnic food restaurant. They are going to be unique because this is not the same person cooking. I gave examples several times when you give a recipe to 3 or 4 different people, same recipe, same, what do you call it, ingredients, you're still going to feel a difference between each one of them when you're going to be doing the blind testing. Why? Because people cook and bake a different way. Now apply this to your skill set and say, well, why am I? I'm a hairdresser, for example. Well, everybody can do a color, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but you get your style. You know what works best for your colors, and you're going to make it that the tone will be maybe slightly different than somebody else's using the same product. Same with a hairdo. Maybe you're going to do something slightly different and others don't do. Think about it. If you're creating clothing, you're in a designing world, same thing. Everyone make their own interpretation of what they do. Look at your skill sets. We all have skill sets. Nobody can say, well, I'm not gifted. Yes, you are. It can be cameras, it can be cooking, it can be numbers, it can be anything. Programming, playing games, whatever it is. They always gonna be people who's gonna hire you for your skill sets because of your uniqueness. Now, when you're looking at example of the Samsung and Apple, different consumer. I love my Apple. People love their Samsung, the LG. You got the Google. You got I don't know what do you have? I don't remember what else we got on phones because I'm not looking at those. But think about the consumer. Think about when you do and start your business, who is your target market? Because you got specific consumer that are gonna come towards you for your specific services or product. Not everybody is gonna be doing the same thing. Okay? I take example of WalTT because I love WalTT, aka Walmart. If you don't know that, if you have not listened to some other of my podcast. I love Walmart because the reason is they figured out how to sell their product on the shelf without having somebody else's trying to influence you. Meaning, you got single product and you have twin packs. You got super duper pack, meaning you got 20% more in that product in a single bottle. Or you get the smaller version. They get everything. So everything for every single test. When you go there, look into the shampoo, and that's one of the class I used to teach online on Wisdom, and talk about go to the shampoo aisle, and you look at the different size, the different packages. You get your bundle, you get your single item, you get your item on sales. You got everything. So you can take 20 different people and observe them if they're going to take the same thing from the shelf. No, they are not. Today I want a twin pack. Maybe tomorrow I want the extra 20% on that bottle. Maybe I'm going to go for the shorter version. Maybe I'm going to go for the travel version. Different size, different people, different taste. Some people like their bundles. Some people like to add things on their own, so they create their own little bundle or buy separately. We all have different tastes. Not everybody's going to go for the same brand. Same thing with you and your business. People will come towards you for the right people. You have the right people coming towards you because they need your help. They need your services. They need your product. This is what it is. It's not competing against somebody. If you're looking at Apple and Samsung, even though, quote unquote, they are competitors, one of them is an innovator. Guess which one? Start with an A. They're the one actually that basically brought the quantum leap of technology from the Stone Age, quote unquote, to where we are today. They created that quantum leap. Everybody copied them in their own way. Okay, nothing wrong with competition. However, the people who are dedicated to Apple will continue to buy Apple, and the people that love Samsung will continue with Samsung. Some will change, flip flop, whatever the deal is. But the main core of those clients is because they like the products they are using. Creativity. This is something, an innovation. This is something that we need to do every single day. Is it easy? No. It's a little bit more complicated sometimes, but it's good to have. So think about what you have that is a skill set that people could hire you for and share your uniqueness. You don't have to say you're better than Tom or Bob or whatever. They don't. If you're looking at those guys, they're not focused on the competition. They're focusing on their skill set, on what their products are. Okay, skill set refer to their product. What are the feature? Feature equals skill set. If you're looking at services, if you're looking at a product, you're looking at the feature. It's like going and buying a car. What do you want in a car? Is it a sunroof? Is it the stereo? Is it the leather seats with the AC and the heat on it? What is it? Is it the cockpit to be spacious? What are you looking for? Are you looking for the engines to see how it's running? Is it diesel, gas, or electric, or is it hybrid? It's looking at all of this. And when you're doing this, apply it for what you do. Even if you have a hobby and you want to make a couple of pennies, or you want to make money on the side with your side gig or hustle, think about what you're providing. Think about your skill set or the feature and options and everything you've got, but you don't have to compete with everybody else's. This is what I provide. And you're going to encounter a lot of people who are not going to want your product. That's fine. They are not meant to purchase your product. But you're going to find your core client when you continue to pursue and really show, because people will look at what you have to offer. You got two types of people. The loyal one who will come back and continue to buy, like Apple or Samsung or your stuff. And you got the one who goes for the cheapest things, which basically have no loyalty because the only thing they're looking at for the deals. So those people will never be loyal. Don't even chase after them because it's not worthy. The core of your client will be the loyal one. It's not because you're going to do a discount that everybody is going to come and stay with you, because there is always another competitor who's going to do a lower than that. But you have to look at the loyalty of the consumer you've got and use that voice of the customer, VOC, to really continue to improve your product. Again, when you start to create something, let's say you want to bake during summertime pies, then listen to the feedback of your clients, because you can from your home do this. During COVID, I had somebody who was hilarious. I forgot her name, first name, but I was doing a contract with a big company and we were working remote, which for me, remote was normal. But some of those guys were so traumatized because they were not used to work remote on their own, and paranoia started to step in. Which was like, oh my God, seriously. So we had huddle twice a day, one in the morning, so they could work on their anxiety in the same times, which was nice, actually. The way they did it was, I think, very, very smart. And in the afternoon, late afternoon, so people will reconvey and talk about what was going on during their day. But some of them were so funny because they're like, well, during COVID, a lot of people were cooking from home. And they made their food available so people could order. And some of them, I don't think it was an official business, but it was funny because I had one of those ladies that was talking about it like she was going to go and do a heist. It was hilarious the way she was talking about, oh, yes, I have a new Chinese place over there and I go to their home and they grab the food and blah, blah, blah. It was like, oh my God. It was hilarious. Like, really? Well, I said, that's good, but they make a lot of good money. So people use their skill set during the COVID to still make their what they were selling, their product, their food, available covertly, we'll say, but it helped them. So think about what you want to do. And even if you're afraid and you're like, well, I don't know what I want to do, or I'm afraid people are going to react, do it as a side gig. Do it just as a hobby and turn it into something that you can sell. Because I'm pretty much sure if you're very good at cooking and do things like that, or you can make beautiful jewelry, anything can be scalable and you can always sell it. Maybe I have a young lady, and that's too bad she stopped to do this. She made the best cookies ever. Seriously, it was to die for. She was that good. And she was a teenager, but she got bullied by others, unfortunately, and she stopped to do it. And it was hard for her, but just a sweetheart. Love her dearly, actually. Very good person. And she was gifted, and she spent her time to go on during the summer for the market. So she will have her little booth, and she was basically, her parents are entrepreneurs, but her mom was encouraging her and was with her. But she was making people samples her cookies, and she was selling them out. And I bought some, and I'm telling you, it was literally to die for. She was just amazing. But it's taking that leap of faith to move something that she used to do as a passion, made it as a business, could have turned into a multi-million-dollar business. And I hope she will do maybe in the near future. But she spent so much love and time. And that was her dad, who's my chiropractor, actually. When I went and get adjusted to his house, said, oh, you never had cookies? I'm like, no. And when I tested it, I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, okay, I want to buy some. So I ordered it. But it's amazing to see the passion when you're capable to do that and really make it from something you can start at the beginning to, okay, I'm going to have some samplers on some of the stuff you can do related to food or stuff like that, but really showcase what you're capable to do, and people will come. That is not an issue. It's how to step up from, okay, I'm doing things for free. Like if you go on my YouTube channels, you're going to get some of the meditation for free. Yes, I'm doing free meditation. However, I'm preparing some that will be, there is 7 that are being actually produced. And the music that I'm using, that will be Generzino from Studio Stargazers, who actually, he's creating the music. So those will be for sale. But I still do my sampler, meaning I do the same quality meditations for people on YouTube. It's accessible. They are going to be like my classes. I have my classes. I got my audiobook. So I do things for free, but I do things as well you can hire. You have to work with both sides. That's the balance. You cannot do everything for free. My podcast, Emma's Universe, always going to be free because I'm at a point with the universe. This will always be free. The rest, no. But you have to have an exchange. You have to have an exchange for a balance to happen. And that's what I think this is the hardest part for people to understand. It has to be an exchange in order to keep the equilibrium. And the exchange of money, quote unquote, is an energy. Okay? So your skill set is an energy as well because you're creating something for people. Your time, a product. So it has to be an exchange. It's not a one-way street. And that's the hardest part to really understand. So we all have great skill set, and we see it when you're working. Go to work and you're exchanging. If you're, I don't know, a nurse or an assistant of some kind, a secretary, whomever you are, you have your skill sets and you are actually sharing them and you're getting paid. If you don't, then maybe it's time for you to negotiate that. But think about it. So this was our podcast for today, and that's the last of the week. I have no idea what I'm going to be recording for following week, but that's all right. It's all good. That's the way life goes. Just take bits and pieces of what I'm saying and apply it in your life the way it's supposed to. Don't try to fit a circle with a square, okay? Which that could work actually on some level, but no, don't make it fit. Take what applies to you and start to make it happen. That's the things we need to understand. Not everything fits, but some of those pieces will give you ideas, those little seeds that will help you to co-create. All my love, guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye now.
Where do we go from here?
Emma's Universe Podcast.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Emma's Universe Podcast. Universe